Hey, it says we're on the air. Good morning, everybody. Lynn Mooney here. Thursday, the end of January, the first month of the year is already gone. Can you believe that? Um, so let me talk to you about registration. It, Webinars on Air has this little switch in it that if you don't set the switch right, it thinks that you're only registered for one session and then you have to register every session. And I screwed up that switch when I set up the webinars for January. So next week, we will have a new series of webinars for the month of February, and hopefully I'll get it right this time. And last year, I set up the webinars for the whole year, and that turned out to be a real burden for some people. And the reason is that people like Justice Egan, for example, he was on the webinar early in the year, and then he got pinged every week, day in, and every Tuesday and every Thursday, he got an email reminder for the entire year, and there was no way to turn it off. There's no way to unregister somebody. So I don't know if you're following what I'm telling you, but at any rate, I'll fix what we're going to do is 1 month at a time, and hopefully the February series I'll fix it correctly so that you only have to register once for the month of February. Whew. Did you understand what I just said? Did anybody understand what I just said? Hi, Rick. So welcome, everybody. I see Rick's here, Chris is here, Bill's here, and usually there's a few more people that jump in. Was anybody on Diane's webinar last night? I think you were on Diane's, Chris. Bill, were you on it? Interesting. And Rick, she's put out a new course, and just so you know, I'm gonna put a plug in for her course here, and I don't make any money if anybody who's on this webinar signs up. So I'm not trying to sell you something that I'm going to profit from. But if you're building an email list, probably being in her course is a good place to be. That's all I'll say about it. And I don't know if you probably know that she's doing a webinar at 12 o'clock today in 25 minutes, Q&A webinar. And so if you have people under you in MLSP, you might want to try to get them on. And I just picked up a new mastery member in MLSP, so I'm one mastery member closer to L2. Yay! I'm beginning to get more leads from Facebook. So some of the stuff is beginning to work a little bit. Okay. Having said that, seemingly changing the subject, through the last 90 days, Bob and I did a thing that was called the Wealth Building Plus Mastermind. And I know, Rick, you were in that. Thanks, Rick. Bill, I know you weren't. And Chris, I'm not sure if you were in it or not. But at any rate, I did several different webinars as part of that mastermind. On Thursday night, we did webinars. And there's a couple of webinars that I did that I thought, yeah, Chris, you know what? I really am on a fence post for exactly that reason. It's like, it's almost another shiny object. It's like, sign up over. I'm not going to say this in public. I'm just going to shut up. But I have so many things that I've already purchased that I'm in the middle of doing that. I understand. I really do understand. So, hey, Craig, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Craig. Okay, anyhow, I did a couple of webinars as part of that Wealth Building Mastermind, and there's two of them that I think that are really worth repeating. And I'm going to repeat part of one of them today for you guys, and that is, I'm going to repeat a piece of the webinar on the core skills of receiving. And one of the reasons I'm going to do this is that for some of you it's not repetitive. For one or two of you it might be. And if it gets too repetitive, hang up, go away, and no harm, no foul, because I don't want to bore you. But this is something that I end up reviewing myself like every couple weeks. I have the original tapes that Larry did. They came from Larry Hochman, and I don't remember if they came from the Guru Code or they came from his Total Transformation. But I have them on my phone, and one of the things that I do when I'm in the gym is I listen to those tapes and those recordings, and I end up listening to them probably once every couple of weeks, and I never get bored. I always find out that it's a good review for me, and it keeps me sort of focused. So I'm gonna review for you today the core skills of receiving. Next Thursday, 1 week from today, Larry's going to be on, and he's going to review for us some of what went on in the Colorado Mastermind. He was at that mastermind with Adam and Justice, so that's going to be really cool. And as of today, I don't have an agenda for Tuesday yet, but we'll get to that. So let me go ahead, and I have shortened this webinar way down. It's about a 45-minute presentation, and I've shortened it down to about 15 or 20 minutes, just the essentials, because I think for everybody on here, it's a review. So I'm going to go to screen share. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to do this without turning off the webinar. And so we are screen sharing. And will somebody type in the chat? You can see my screen. I know there's about a 30 or 40 second delay, so I'm going to just hold on and wait for that. I'm going to assume you can see it. And Craig, Rick, Bill, Chris. And so I'm just sort of hanging on. I'm assuming you can see the screen. And I could, I guess, bring somebody over, but we'll just go ahead and wing it. I see. Okay. Here we go. PowerPoint presentation. And what I'm going to do is review with you the core skills of receiving. And again, as I said before, this may be a bit repetitive for some of you, but I find repeating it every couple of weeks for myself actually helps me. So I don't think repeating it is a bad thing. And there really are 5 core skills to receiving, and much of this material comes directly from Larry Hochman in the T3 method and or the Guru Code. And like I said, I don't remember exactly where it came from. I've also interspersed other things in here that came from people like Wayne Dyer and et cetera. So, but you know, these core skills of receiving are timeless principles. But one of the things we all struggle with, at least I certainly do, and most people I know struggle with, is we say, well, I'd rather give than receive. We're uncomfortable receiving. And if we're uncomfortable receiving, it's going to be very hard for us to receive. It's hard for us to receive from other people when they're going to buy something from us. We're all in home-based business, and we want to sell things to people. We want them to give us their hard-earned money, and we've got to feel good about that. We don't want to feel like it's bad and we shouldn't take things from people. We should certainly give them value in return for what they're paying for. But giving and receiving always have to be in balance. If we don't have anything, if we don't receive, then we have nothing to give. And you know, the classic example of that is the one that's used so many times, it's almost cliche. If you're on an airplane and the oxygen masks drop, put yours on first before you help the people next to you. And the reason for that is if you're not breathing, you can't help anybody else. So it's important that we develop these skills. And if we want to receive lots of money in our life, we have to count on the universe to give it to us, and we've got to feel good about that. And many people just don't. So let's look at these core skills. Core skill number 1, deceptively simple, but extraordinarily important. You got to feel good about yourself. You got to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, and I got to tell you that this is something that I personally have to work on all the time. This is not something that I can do once, and you know, I did that. You know, it's like Bob's favorite saying, Bob Miller's favorite saying. Well, you know, I went to the gym 4 years ago once. I got that now. I did it. Or I've told people the story of my mother remarried when I was 5. And for some reason, he never called himself my stepdad. He always called himself my foster dad. I don't know why. And but at any rate, I remember when I was a teenager, him telling me that he didn't need to read books anymore because he read every book there was to read in the library when he was a teenager in high school. He read them all. So there was no reason for him to ever read anything. Do you know that we publish 1,000 new books a day in the United States? So, this thing of loving ourselves is something that we need to go over and over again and make sure that we really have it right. Many of us, and I'm one, and I know that, I'll just talk about me. Many of us were raised in an environment of negativity. We were told what we can't do. We were told we were no good. We were told we'd never amount to anything. And we got to let that stuff go. And we just got to get to a point where we can look in the mirror, put our arms around ourselves and say, I love you. You're a good person. I like you. And the classic example of this is thinking about people who have children. You want your child to be safe, but you also know the child needs to grow up. You know they're going to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, some of them are pretty ugly. And when they're teenagers, they can be pretty obnoxious. But the reality is their behavior can be really obnoxious, but nothing they can do, pretty much nothing they can do, can make you stop loving them. And that's the way you got to feel about yourself. You got to forgive yourself your mistakes. You got to feel good about yourself. And you've got to know that you're the most important person in the world. And that's not selfish, and it's not narcissistic. Even if you have children, even if you have a spouse, you're still the most important person in the world, because if you're not breathing, you have nothing to give away to anybody else. Pure and simple. And so many people are uncomfortable with this concept. We equate it with having an ego or narcissism, but it's not. Loving yourself is not having an overinflated ego. Overinflated ego is a mask for insecurity. So these are Larry's words. You got to make yourself your own intimate partner and learn to accept yourself, warts and all. And without that step, you're not in a position to really receive from the universe, from other people, from anyone else in your life, the things that you need to receive. And if you can't receive, you're not going to grow and have the things you want. So step one, love yourself. Step two, core skill number 2. This one for me is absolutely critical. It's a game changer. It's based in biofeedback and neuropsychology. And if you don't have an anchor behavior, if you haven't developed this skill for yourself, I'm going to encourage you to do it. Start today and develop this skill. And if you've let the skill slide because you've forgotten to do it, and I know I do, start again. Think of a time that you felt really, 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 really good about something, a peak experience in your life. And I'm going to tell you that Larry takes 40 minutes to discuss the anchor behavior. We're going to do it in a lot less than 40 minutes. We're going to do it in 3 or 4 minutes. Again, I'm just highlighting some of these ideas to bring them home again. Don't say that my life was so poor that I can't think of a good peak experience, because you wouldn't be here if it was that bad. So you have them back there. For me, for many people, it's the birth of a child, or maybe it's a wedding. No, don't think about the divorce. Think about the wedding. Think about a good, positive peak experience. Think about the birth of your first child. For me, I never had a first child. At least I didn't birth the child. And I wasn't allowed in the hospital when my first child was born, so I can't go to that event. The events that I do go to are, there was a time when I was actually on a roller coaster with my mother. It was at Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And normally she wouldn't ride the roller coasters with me, but this day she did. And it was just, she'll never know. She'll never know what a high that was for me, how important it was for me that she would do that. And there's been times when I've been skiing. There's been times when I've been scuba diving that I just had this, I was on top of the world, absolutely peak experience. Your peak experiences are going to be different than mine, but it's okay. Find a peak experience. And now the trick is to bring yourself into that state and to associate a simple little behavior with it. For me, it's I rub my fingers together, my middle finger and my thumb. And Larry Hockman talks about a woman who put a lock of hair behind her ear and other things. Larry twists to the left. And we're not talking about doing something that's so conspicuous that people will stop and stare at you like you're out of your mind. You're not going to do the twist in public. But what you want to do is associate that behavior with that peak state, so that any time you want to bring yourself into that peak state, you simply do your anchor behavior. It's a small and conspicuous movement, not the twist in public. And if you haven't been doing this, again, this recommendation now comes from Larry. Practice it 25 times a day until you form the association. So once again, it's find something that feels really good and associate this simple single little behavior with it. So, and the idea here is that many people wake up, for most people, the default position in life is negativity or blasé or blah, I got another day ahead of me, I got to go to work, I got to drive in traffic, and what we want to do is break that pattern and make a conscious decision to put ourselves in a good feeling state. And when you start to restore being happy as a default position, imagine being happy as the default position in your life rather than being frustrated, confused, upset, feeling like you're never going to get this done, there's too much, you're overwhelmed. And how often do you do this? Well, how long you're going to do it for the rest of your life. And what you want to do is use this anchoring behavior. Once you've got it anchored, and practice it 25 times a day until it's really anchored in. Now you want to just use it. Anytime you don't feel good about something, anytime you're feeling down, depressed, blasé, you don't feel like doing something, anchor yourself. Anytime something good happens in your life, anchor it in and make yourself feel good. And I'm telling you guys and girls, this really works. It doesn't matter. And I probably end up anchoring myself maybe 10 times a day. I'll be looking at something that I just don't feel like doing, or I'll get up in the morning and I'll think, oh God, I got to write another blog post, or Chris will probably shoot me, it's like, oh, I got to go to ABC's and blogging and read some posts. You know what, Chris, I know I'm behind. I'm sorry. I will catch up. I promise. Don't beat me up too bad. But the minute I find myself thinking one of these sort of blasé, negative, I don't know if I feel like doing that thoughts, I anchor. I do my anchor behavior. And I just tell myself, I feel happy, and bam, I feel happy. So do it. If you haven't got it, start. If you did it and you forgot about it, pick it up, do it again. Keep it going. It really works. Core skill number 3. You know what? Okay, we got 10 more minutes. We're going to be done at noon, so anyone who's jumping on Diane's webinar can get on it. There's not a problem. Core skill number 3, go quiet. And many of us struggle with this. I know that I do. I've been working on meditation for a long time. I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting better. Find a quiet space, clear your mind. Things aren't the problem. It's our reaction to things that causes trouble. This is a one size doesn't fit everybody thing. Some people like to walk. Some people like to listen to mellow music. Some people like to do Tai Chi. I do Tai Chi in the morning, by the way. Some people do EFT, tapping. Some people just do deep breathing. Whatever works for you, that you can spend, and the recommendation is a minimum of 10 minutes a day, but for most people that's not enough. But if you can spend 10, 15, 20 minutes a day going quiet, clearing out your brain, getting rid of the clutter and the crap. And one of the common places is, I think, looks like I have this slide in there twice. Okay. One of the common things is, I can't get my mind to go quiet. It's just all kinds of stuff going on all the time. And Larry's comment about that is, if your mind feels like it's on a runaway train, let the train run away. And don't resist. Let things go where they're supposed to, and just work on it over a period of time, learning how to clear your mind out and just get it quiet. so that you can get in touch with your higher consciousness, the universe, God, infinite energy, source energy, the quiet little voice in your head that's trying to tell you what the right thing to do for you is. And I'm telling you, I'm not good at it yet, but when I do manage to clear my mind and get it to go quiet, it really works. It is hard. It takes practice. Most of us aren't used to doing this. So again, find a way, find a few minutes every day where you can try to just sit down and spend some quiet time and clear the clutter, and clear the negativity, clear the crap out. Core skill number 4, critical. If you're not doing a morning routine, you're making a huge mistake. At the beginning of each day, step 1, address yourself. And this is best done in writing. Get a journal, write, good morning, and address yourself. Good morning, Len. Good morning, first name. I feel wonderful today. How do you intend to feel? Do you intend to feel abundant, healthy, loved, wealthy, loved? What do you intend to feel today? So, and for me, I intend to feel happy. That's a standard for me now. I intend to feel happy. I intend to feel productive. Okay. And once you put your feelings down, make your what do you hope to accomplish today? Name the things that you intend to do. Notice the first thing was feelings. How do you intend to feel? Now, what are the things that you intend to do? And notice if the things you intend to do are connected in any way to the way you want to feel. So, for example, and one of the examples I've used before is, if you intend to be productive for your business, that's your feeling. You intend to feel productive, but your to-do list is clean the garage. Maybe those aren't congruent with each other. Maybe you need to revisit your to-do list and put some things on your to-do list that are going to support the way you want to feel about yourself. Are your intentions matching up with your activities? And I'm going to remind you, every morning I review my goals, my long-term objectives. What am I trying to accomplish? And this is, I'm going to put a link here. And yes, if you do go out to Mind Movies and buy anything, I get a commission on it. So this is an affiliate link. But I'm such a firm believer in Mind Movies. I'm pretty sure, Chris, you've got one. I don't know who else does, who doesn't, but I got my Mind Movie a year or so ago, and I watch it every morning and every evening. One of the first things I do when I get up in the morning, after I've pushed the on button on the coffee pot, is I watch my Mind Movie. And one of the last things I do before I go to bed at night is watch my Mind Movie. And the Mind Movie, for those of you who don't know, it's a vision board, but it's a vision board on a movie where you can create a movie of what you want your life to be like. And I think it's a very, very powerful tool. So I really recommend, if you don't have one for yourself, that you go do it. Third part of intending your morning is asking yourself, what are you willing to let God or the universe or law of attraction or whatever else do for you? You need help. You can't do this all by yourself. So for example, one of the examples Larry uses is if you want to write a sales letter, that's fine. You can write the sales letter. If you want to make 10 sales today, that requires the cooperation of the universe or other people. You can't do it all by yourself. So there are certain things that you intend for your day that you have to ask for help from the universe or from God or from infinite source energy or whatever you call it. You got to have help because you don't control everything. So the 3 things we're going to do when we intend our day in the morning is, first, our intentions for how we want to feel today. I want to feel happy. I intend to feel happy. I intend to feel productive. Whatever it is. Step 2, what are the actions you're going to take? And are they congruent with the feelings you want to have? And step 3, what are you going to turn over to the universe and allow God to help you with? Because you can't do it all by yourself. And if you haven't read, haven't digested, aren't working with The Miracle Morning, I strongly recommend that too. Really great book. Last but not least, close your day. We very rarely get everything done that we wanted to accomplish today. And it's important at the end of every day to give yourself credit for what you did do rather than beat yourself up for what you didn't do. So find stuff that worked for you that day. What did you like about that day? I like the fact that I got my blog post done. I like the fact that I got my video up. I like the fact, whatever you did, whatever you felt good about, name some things, write some things down, journal some things that you liked about that day. And forgive yourself for anything you didn't like. It's okay. It's all right. Name at least one thing you liked, and who are you grateful for that day? Who helped you? Who can you think of that you're grateful for? And maybe sometimes the people you're grateful for aren't even still alive. There are people that you might be for. For example, I'm still reading a lot of Wayne Dyer stuff, and I'm grateful for Wayne Dyer, even though he's no longer with us. He still has a major influence on my life. And finally, before you go to bed at night, I always review my goals and my vision. What am I trying to accomplish? Where am I trying to go? Where do I intend to get to? And I need to take the word trying out of that sentence, sorry. But where am I going? Where am I going to get to? And close your day. And if you do that, you'll find that you go to bed with your subconscious mind more focused on the things you like and the things you want to accomplish than on the things you didn't do, which the tendency many of us have is to go to bed worried about the things we didn't get done, rather than thanking ourselves for the things we did get done. So, again, name at least 5 people you liked. And even if it's somebody you're in conflict with, that naming somebody that you're grateful for that you're in conflict with, find something you like about that person. And if you have a spouse, don't go to bed mad. Don't go to bed mad. Find something you liked about that person today, something they did that you liked, and compliment them. Tell them you appreciate what they did. Don't go to bed mad. And this is part of restructuring how you see yourself and how you see the world around you. Building your self-respect and building up your commitments for yourself and learning to laugh at yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, screw-ups, warts and all, and move on when you make a mistake. So that's the sort of 20-minute version of the core skills of receiving. And know that you are enough, you are awesome, and you are a winner. And bury that in your subconscious brain, subconscious mind as you go to bed. And let me see if I can end the, let's see, where am I at? Don't stop the broadcast, stop the screen share. Okay, good, yes, all right, cool. On free daily coaching, Chris? Yeah, I'm assuming free daily coaching. All right. So, it's 1 minute to the hour. For anybody who wants to jump on the Diane webinar, I wanted I'm not going to jump on the Diane webinar. I don't have any questions that I want to ask, but there may be some people that want to get on it. I wanted to make sure I didn't interfere with it. And for those of you who were on today, the future of Lunch with Len is still hanging in my, I'm not 100% sure what direction to take this in. Do we want more technical training? Do we want more mindset training? Do we want a combination of both? I'd like to know, is what I did today, did you like it? And send me a message, or just let me know, or put it in the chat, whatever. Would you like more of this kind of stuff, or more technical stuff, or where do we go? Where do we take it for the next few months? And I can go any direction that people want to go in. So that's all for today. I'm going to turn it off so that anyone who wants to can jump on Diane's webinar, and I will see you folks have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you on Tuesday. Bye for now.